Hi everyone, greetings. This is Gaia Earth Goddess. I'm back with another video. I wanted to make a video about the topic of training your daughters to be a wife. And I noticed that in our society, we don't train our daughters largely. I do, but for the most part, in modern society, people have strayed away from training their daughters to be wives. It's pretty much people sending their daughters to school to be quote-unquote educated, encouraging them to go to college, encouraging them to be independent, encouraging them to step into masculinity. By masculinity, I mean you're stepping into this leadership role and this dominant role. And we don't encourage our daughters in our society to really step into their true feminine self and into their feminine role. So I just wanted to talk about that because I watch a lot of documentaries. I've never really traveled, but I watch a lot of documentaries, and a lot of the documentaries that I watch are cultures that are in Asia, like Bangladesh or India, or certain Arab cultures, certain African cultures. And I noticed that outside of the US and outside of industrialized countries, modern industrialized countries, what people do is they train their daughters to be wives, because those countries really recognize and they put on a pedestal the role of the woman in the household. It's not like they're trying to put women down and keep them in the house. It's that they cherish and they respect the role of a woman. So because the role of a woman is something that's treasured and cherished and not pushed to the side so that she can be career focused or educated, it's not pushed to the side. It's deemed just as important as anything else. So because of that, in those cultures, they actually hone in and train their daughters to be wives at early ages. So they start the training very early on. And this is something that I've implemented with my daughters. Wife training for a young girl should begin between the ages of 8 to 10 years old. Okay, and the reason I say that is because in other countries, that's what they do. They start around maybe 8 to 10 years old, teaching young girls how to cook, how to clean. If they have a younger sibling, how to take care of a baby, how to change a baby, how to keep a household, how to serve. They have them serve their father, like food and things like that. That's what they do. And the reason they do that is because for some girls, womanhood can start very early on. There are cases of girls being 8 years old and starting their cycle. And so because we don't know when our daughters are going to start their cycles, a lot of different people in other cultures, they just go ahead and start training their daughters to be wives around 8 to 10 years old, because once you start your cycle, in a lot of those cultures, you're already ready for marriage. And so they want to go ahead and get it out of the way as far as training girls to be wives and training them on what they should be doing. And so I'm not saying that girls should get married at 8 to 10 years old. That's other people's culture. But the training to be a wife should start that early, because if you start training your daughters to be a wife between the ages of 8 to 10 years old, by the time they're 18, 19 years old, they've been doing it so long that they know exactly what to do. It's like breathing to them. So they end up being better wives and better mothers because they've been training literally almost their whole life. So if you have a daughter that's between 8 and 10 years old, like what I do with my 8-year-old, have your daughters shadow you. When you do housework, have them shadow you. Teach them how to do the housework. Teach them how to take care of babies. They have a younger sibling, like I said earlier. If they have a younger sibling, teach them how to change them, how to take care of them, how to keep them, how to keep a home. Teach them how to cook. And you don't teach them everything at once because they're only 8 and 10 years old. But 8 and 10 years old is a good age to really get them engaged. Teach them the importance of being a wife and a mother, particularly a stay-at-home housewife, because that is the role that women are supposed to have. Teach them that that role is just as important, if not more important, than having a career. Because the backbone of society, the backbone of the household portion of society relies on the woman. So if we're out working and being career women, that backbone is weak. So teach them that being a housewife is nothing to be ashamed of. It's actually something that is virtuous. Like I said, have your daughters shadow you. Teach them to cook, to clean. Teach your daughters the importance of being a wife and how to be a wife. Have the talk with them between the ages of 8 to 10 years old. Teach them about their bodies, their menstrual cycles, where babies come from, how babies get inside of their bodies, the process for that. Do not shy away. My 8-year-old knows exactly what sex is and what happens when someone becomes pregnant. She knows what a pregnancy is, what all of that is. No, little stories. Everything is very, very, very blunt, and everything is very truthful. We need to start teaching these girls how to be wives. And so many people have gotten away from that. I hear so many young mothers say, oh, I'm going to teach my daughter to be strong and independent and have a career. But are you teaching them to be a wife and a mother, which is the role they're supposed to have in the first place? Men can be the doctors. Men can be the lawyers. Men are the ones that are supposed to go out and work anyway. Let them do those things. Keep your daughters at home and teach them to be in the home and be those housewives and be those mothers. We need that baseline of basic education. As far as education, I'm really like a basic knowledge, because I don't like using that term. Basic knowledge of the ins and outs of being a wife. And as they get older, teach them a little more and a little more and a little more. You don't want to put it all on them at one time, because they are going to be 8 to 10 years old. But add on a little bit more, like the how men are naturally. Most women are not raised up to view men as being polygamous. They are raised to view men as being monogamous, and that is detrimental, because men naturally are wired for more than one partner. So as they get to be teens, teach them the nature of men and how they are. Teach them about polygamy and how it's a beautiful thing that can be shared between multiple wives. This will help marriages and relationships last longer, because you're teaching a girl her place, and you're teaching her place young enough so that she can soak up the information. Nobody wants these headstrong, quote unquote independent, dominant, masculine energy women. They don't want that. And the only reason these women are like that is because they weren't raised to be soft and to be in their role. They weren't raised like that at all. So we have to undo all of the things that have diminished our role, all of the things that feminism brought to us that have diminished our role and tarnished it. We have to undo that. We have the ability to do that with our own daughters if we hone in and start teaching them the beauty of being a wife and a mother, and teach them that early on. I have my daughter shadow me around the house. She's learning, and I teach her the importance of being a wife and a mother, and she tells me she aspires to be a mother when she grows up. She aspires to be a good wife when she grows up, and that's what I want to hear. If she wants to go out and have a career, that's fine, that's her choice, but I'm teaching her the fundamentals that I know that's going to take her further than any career ever will. And this is something we need to be teaching our daughters. You have a daughter, even if they're not 8 to 10 years old, whatever age they are, just start now. Have them shadow you. Teach them that. Because this independent woman stuff is just not, it hasn't been working since the 70s. And we've been brainwashed, think it's working. It's not. That's why the divorce rate keeps going up. It's the women. It's pretty 90% the women, because we don't know our place. And we clash with the men because they're not going to give up their place. And we're trying to push into their place. They won't give it up. We butt heads, divorce. We don't know the nature of men. We think they're always cheating. We don't realize that they're not meant to be with one partner, that is supposed to be multiple wives. So, divorce. We don't know our place and our role. And men are fighting like hell to keep theirs, because feminism has taught us to literally take their role. So we need to undo this, and it starts with the next generation. Teach your daughters to be housewives and mothers and start early. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I will talk to you guys later, and I'll see you later. Tell me what you think in the comments. All right, bye-bye.